arrested over 1,200 illegal immigrants in the Atlanta area. Uh, a lot of them had, was convicted felons. Do people really got a problem with that? I mean, serious. I mean, what's the problem? Nah, like I said, on one issue, I could be totally against what, the administration, like what's going on there in the Strait of Hormuz. Man, that's some bullshit. Ain't nothing good coming up out of that. You paying for it, and you might get a terrorist attack or attacks on the homeland, or cyber attack, shutting down infrastructure. You are vulnerable for attack. So that's some bullshit. That has made the nation less secure. But then when it comes to illegal immigrants, are we upset that and a lot of these guys, are criminals? You see, roaming the goddamn country, illegal, committing crimes right here in the United States. Do you really have a problem with that? I don't have a problem with that part. That part. That don't mean, again, I'm totally in agreement with the administration at all, because I'm not. But, that part is right and exact. They need to get their ass up out of here. We already got enough crazy motherfuckers. We don't need no undocumented maniacs roam in the United States committing crimes, ain't even being locked up for it. They continue serial killers, selling drugs, drug runners for, the cartels in the South. Yes, get their ass and get them on up out of here. That don't mean, but at the same time, while they arresting 1,200 illegal immigrants, you still being locked up at an enormous, alarming rate. Black people, speaking of black people, you still being locked up because you don't have an agenda and you are committing crime. You are, some are not committing crime. That's true. You see, so it's really black power, black power. So that don't change. You can put all the illegal immigrants out of here and you still got serious issues that you got to deal with, and it's the man in the mirror. But we speaking about the 1,200 illegal immigrants, and they ramping up and getting their ass up out of here. And we'll talk about what's going on with the Haitian immigrants, because the temporary protective status is over with. You know what I'm saying? That is over with. And so I've heard that, they've ordered a lot of the Haitians to wear ankle bracelets and shit, So and I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna tap in to see what's going on. But yeah, I'm most definitely, and a lot of people mad, it's time, the gig is up. That don't make it no better for you, because once they get them all out of here, you gonna be the main focus. And they focusing on your ass right now at the same damn time. It ain't really they gotta wait, because they hitting your ass anyway. And if black people ain't got a program that says do for self, your ass is under the boat. You're under the bus. You see what I'm saying? They will roll you over just like everybody else. That's a fact. That's a fact. But, I see that the wall has went, man, they putting all, I seen a video where they putting all type of barbed wire down there on the wall, from that's keeping the immigrants from coming through the border down there. Man, they done militarized that shit down there. They have militarized that shit down there. They don't want nobody coming through that goddamn border. But as you keep them out, your ass is locked in. That's crazy. Now you got to know that damn. Now people don't think about that. As they lock their ass out, they locking your ass in. So if you needed to get out this motherfucker, yeah, it's gonna be hard now. It's gonna be hard now. Yeah, what's up, family? You can't get up out of here. Now, that was the thing, that you could just, if you had to get up out this motherfucker, you could get out. You say there's a video out there of a group of white women beating up a Caribbean woman at a sleepover party. Well, what's she doing sleeping over there with them white people? That's what's wrong with our people, man. They keep integrating with these Neanderthals. And then when they go caveman, cave woman on your ass, then you looking for some sympathy. I try to have compassion, but I don't, a lot of people want to live with the blinders on and get blindsided. You see, when you want to live with the blinders on and you get blindsided, that's on you. And I'm not being less compassionate. You got to be realistical out here. And a lot of people didn't already, but you got different worlds, and people have, they have looked at that information, the family exposing the truth about the Neanderthal. They do not want to listen. Yeah, 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 yeah. They do not want to listen. And so, like they say, man, a hard head makes a soft ass. A hard head makes a soft ass. So if you do not want to listen to the truth, then you. Nah. And so I mean, after looking at so many incidents, the last couple of incidents, Carmelo Anthony, Wells, and my first initial response is that this is a black person, and you don't know all the other information until it start coming out, and I speak up for our people. But then when I get to hearing, oh, you with the white woman or you with the white man, and oh, I'm not about to argue nothing. Cause nigga, y'all live in a different world. Y'all live in a world where you believe that these people are, nice, and they're your friend, and they're good people. You idolize them in that instance, and you put the blinders on to the reality of the history of these people, what they have done, and you try to separate today from yesterday, saying, "Oh, these are not the same people." Yes, they are. You under illusion, and that's why you see what's happening. And so all I can tell you is, man, you rethink the madness of your ideology and psychology and philosophy that you believe in, that causes you to move near them people, live and perpetrate like you wanted them, and that they gonna treat you like you wanted them, and you always end up, that's right, crackatosis, niggeritis. You know what I'm saying? Kundalini. You know what I'm saying? You got all you got all the symptoms, of a person that then lost their mind. But back to the immigrants, and they do that overseas too. They do that everywhere. When you become the prey. That remind me of that one movie where Ice-T and them was in that motherfucking movie, and they went hunting with that motherfucker. What was that movie called with Ice-T and somebody, and they end up being the prey? They went on the hunting team. I believe they went with them. And then once they got them out there, they went to hunting their ass. What was that movie called? Yeah. You already know, Ray. What was that movie Ice-T was in? And they end up surviving the game. That's it. Surviving the game. That's exactly it. Yeah, yep, surviving the game. That's it. That's the game they playing. That's the game that they play. And they lose every time. You feel me? You say piss Ray off. Anyway, family, hey, we just getting started, family. Yeah, so all the immigrants out there, your time is up. They're getting your ass up out of here. All your crime written, your ass is done. Your ass, your season and your career in the United States is over. And I believe good riddance. Good riddance. Get their ass up out of here. Anyway, I be Black family. Click that Patreon down there. Support the General. I got over 600 exclusive live streams. General SETI One Stop Etsy. Get over there. KingSETI.com. Make sure y'all get a video a thumbs up. Like it because you love it. Share it with your family and friends. And I'll be back. Boom. Black Power.